All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Today we have Dr. Namiq, who's going to talk to us about just his path to his career and his current position as a pharmacist. Dr. Namiq immigrated to this country when he was in his 20s and started taking coursework at Grossmont Community College District. So he is one of our alumni. He then transferred to get his degree in pharmaceutical chemistry, a bachelor's degree, and then went on to study pharmaceutical sciences. And he'll share a little bit more about his story and his path, but is there anything else you want to add before we get into our questions?
No, I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so can you start off and just tell us a little bit about what a day in your career looks like, and yeah, just what an average, what your current position is and what a day in your career looks like.
All right, thank you, Lena. Good morning, everyone. I just want to say I'm really, really excited to be here. It's like, the feeling of doing it full circle always is a great feeling. So, like I said, I'm very excited and very happy to be with you guys. As far as my current position, so I actually just recently got promoted to a new position. So just to give you a little background, when I graduated from pharmacy school back in 2017, so the degree that you get from pharmacy school is a PharmD degree. So it's a doctorate in pharmacy. With that, there are many things that you can do with it. And I'll go more in details with that in a little bit. But the path that I took was going into retail pharmacy. So specifically with CVS Pharmacy. I actually started with them in my second year of pharmacy school as an intern. And then after graduating, I started working as a pharmacist for a month or so, and then I got promoted to pharmacy manager. So the pharmacy that I was working at was the CVS on Second and Broadway in El Cajon. So I was in that pharmacy for about 4 years, and it was really a great experience. What I really enjoyed the most about the position that I've been in for the past 5 years or so was really that kind of close interaction that you have with patients. So with the medical field, you have interact with patients all the time. For example, doctors get to interact with patients for about half an hour every few months or so. So the what I really liked about pharmacy is that you don't need an appointment. You don't need to wait a month or two or three just to see someone so you can talk to them about an issue that you have. You can just approach the counter, go to consultation window, and you can have a full-on conversation about whatever you're experiencing. So that part is really one of the things that I really enjoy about being a pharmacist. So with being a pharmacy manager, it's not you have that patient interaction, and you also have that leadership part. And it's one of the things that you change all the time. What do I mean by that? When I was in community college, I started at Grossmont in Cuyamaca, and I transferred to UC San Diego for my undergrad. So at the time, all I was thinking about is that, I want to go into pharmacy school so I can invent a drug to cure cancer. Okay. And a lot of people have that passion in the beginning. So once I transferred, I worked in a lab, and I was like, man, this is not for me. I really did not like it. I did not like the environment. And I truly thought that this was not meant for me. So after that, I did a few rotations in pharmacy school, and I tried hospital pharmacy, and that did not attract me at all. But because of the experience that I had with CVS, I was like, okay, you know what? Retail pharmacy is really something that I have passion for. So that's why I decided to go into retail pharmacy. And then after I became a pharmacy manager, what I found out about myself is that the thing that really attracted me more now was leadership. It's how we can impact and influence others, so you can lead them to success, so you can lead them to treating your patients right, so you can lead them to really not leaving any patients behind. So and so that's the career path that I took. After like I said, I was a pharmacy manager at that store for 4 years. Throughout this time, I was enrolled in leadership classes with CVS, and I really wanted to do more about leadership. So after 4 successful years, I transferred to a busier pharmacy, which is a 24-hour pharmacy. With that came, bigger team. It's more challenges with leading your team. But with that, I really found out more and more about myself. It's like, you know what, I can lead bigger teams, and so that's why I continued with the leadership classes at CVS. And just recently, I was promoted to a position called District Leader, Emerging Leader, which is basically I'm on path. Basically, it's a few-month program where I'm on path to become a district leader, where the influence that I have is bigger teams now. So not just my pharmacy team, but also other pharmacies and other stores in the district. So that include, front store employees and pharmacy employees as well. So that's where I'm at right now.
Very cool. And you touched a little bit on some of the things you enjoy and some of the preferences you have or environments that you like, but can you tell a little bit or describe a little bit more about what your favorite part about your current position is?
So the part of impacting and leading others on a bigger scale is the thing that I really enjoy now, because what I can see now is I don't just influence one individual person, but I actually can influence whole teams through that one person. So if you do the coaching part correctly, and you make sure that you really treat every single individual for the leader that they are, you can actually influence their teams through that person. So that's what I really enjoy the most now.
Very cool. And I didn't have this question written before, but you kind of described this progression of becoming that leader. Was there a something that helped you step from like, this is what I'm practicing to do, into like, I want to be able to influence and lead others, or to build that confidence piece specifically? Because I think when you're first starting off in a career, you don't always maybe see yourself as a leader, but was there a defining moment for you where that transition happened?
It's like you said, it's not, you don't really see it in yourself in the beginning. Like, you have the passion, but can you actually do it? And that takes a lot of practice, and working on yourself with having a growth mindset. What do I mean by that? So if, let's say that some leaders get stuck with the idea of, oh my God, we don't have enough hours. This is not possible. We can't really do this. Things are what they are because of the limited resources that we have. So that's having a closed and a fixed mindset. But if you actually apply a growth mindset, you can see how much you can achieve with that mindset. Once I started working on myself and really working on that part, that growth part, really made a big difference. You see things differently, and you can really achieve a lot more with having that kind of mindset.
Very cool. And we talked about that in our class. So thank you for bringing that into it.
Awesome.
Was there either an event or a person or like a mentor that you could think back on and that helped lead you along the way?
There are many milestones in your life and very many defining moments in your life where things turn out the way they are because of that one person's influence or that event's influence. So for me, one of the main ones, and actually Charlene is aware of that because she was there. When I transferred from community college to university, it was very difficult. That transition is very, very difficult. I remember when I graduated community college, I had a GPA of 3.77, which is considered a higher GPA. And then I started with UCSD. And then the first year of UCSD was just horrible for me. I think I finished the year with like a 2.66 GPA. So you think about it, you're like, wow, so am I not good enough? Because I feel like, I was really good at community college, but I'm not really good at, UCSD. It's a much more challenging and then school in general, and the block system makes it a lot worse. So actually, what one of the things that really helped me during that transition is that I was enrolled in a program called University Link Medical Science Program. And that program um, helps community college students who come from, economically disadvantaged background, or, what else? Charlie, maybe you can help me with that. I forgot what the definition of the program exactly, but basically all the disadvantages that you may have can help you with that. So because there are many people that started university from, first year, and then you come from community college at that level, the third year, and there's other people that are way ahead of you, and they have a lot more resources than they do. And so you are at a disadvantage there. So that program, it was a whole month where you live on campus and you get to know the block system. You get to learn techniques that can help you succeed at a university after you transfer. So that actually helped me out a lot with like overcoming all the challenges that I had in the first year. So you get to meet a lot of mentors that can help you along the way, and that's what I had in that program. So I met many people at UCSD that really helped me out a lot, helped me out on many different levels. For example, I met one person who was in charge of the free clinic at UC San Diego, the pharmacy part of the free clinic. So I got to know him, and he was an awesome guy. And he's also a professor at UCSD, School of Pharmacy. So I told him, hey, I'm interested in a position in the free clinic. I really want to help out. I want to see what the what the how what the pharmacy experience is like at the free clinic. So I got to volunteer there for a whole, I think, 2 years before I got into pharmacy school. And yeah, thank you, Charlene. So the program is designed for first generation, low income, historically marginalized and educationally disadvantaged students who are community college transfers that are going to a university. So if you feel like you're one of those people, I highly encourage you to apply to this program. It's really a great program. So yeah, that's one of the mentors that I met there. Along, there are many others, but that's just one person that I was, I related to the most because he was from a pharmacy field.
That's awesome. And it was, it took almost like that program to then connect you to the mentor, because even we were, I was talking about this in class, like sometimes just approaching a mentor or someone like you want to be mentored by can take a lot of confidence and can be nerve-wracking at first. How do you even find that someone like that?
That's true. Absolutely, yeah. And you learned one of these techniques that you learn in school is actually how to select a mentor, and how can you find someone that can help you out, along with your career.
And you touched on some of the challenges, but can you go more in depth into some of the hurdles that you experienced along the way as you were pursuing your education in this specific field?
Yeah, so other than the part where when I transferred, there was one more time that was a lot more difficult for me. In my second year of pharmacy school, that's the most challenging year, because what at UC San Diego, what we did was, in our second year of pharmacy school, we take classes with medical students. We take all their classes, and on top of that, we have our pharmacy classes. So that is really the most challenging part. Even though the program is a pass-fail program, It's not, you're not graded on an ABCD system, but it's not easy at all. So in the beginning of the year, one of the really closest people in my life got really sick, and I felt like I was gonna lose that person, and it was very, very difficult for me. It was a moment where you don't know what to do. You can't focus on school. You're very distracted, and that fear of losing someone is horrible. So it really took a lot out of me to reach out as much as I could to get the help that I needed. So, on a you know on a professional level, it was like I said, it was one of the most difficult years in my life. I got to a point where I felt like I was going to fail the year because I was very distracted. But I reached out. I reached out to professors. I reached out to other resources and on campus to get the help that I needed. So thankfully, that person is doing a lot better now. And at the same time, I was able to pass the year, even though it was very, very difficult. But thankfully, I was able to overcome that difficulty.
Thank you for sharing. And it's a good reminder that, as you're pursuing your education, life keeps happening and we don't get to really ever choose what those things are, but how to keep, how to persevere, how to humble yourself to ask for help is always good, good lessons to learn and be able to put into practice for your whole career, really.
Definitely, definitely.
And then, is there just general advice that you would give to students who are currently pursuing STEM or anything related to the healthcare field?
The one advice that I would give you right now that is really gonna help you out a lot along the way is that connect with as many people as you can. And that includes, first thing that you can do is you connect with your professors. So not just in classroom, but outside of classroom. So office hours and getting to know your professor, it can help you out a lot. Can help you in choosing the field that you want to go to, and at the same time, it's that professor can get to know you and you get to know them. And why do I say that? So you never know when are you going to need somebody's help. Okay, that's why it's really important to expand your network as much as you can. So going to office hours and participating in class and having the professor really know you and you distinguish yourself from others can help you. First thing that you can help you with is getting a letter of recommendation from that professor. And you never know how difficult it can be until you actually are seeking letters of recommendation for, a graduate program. Okay. So that's the number one thing that I would recommend. The other thing is that the more you expand your network, the more you're going to get to know things that you weren't really aware of, and you never knew that you're going to have, an interest in. So you might be interested in dental school or going to dentistry. But then after a little while, you may realize that, oh, you know what, dentistry is not really for me. I want to go to medicine, or I want to go to pharmacy, or whatever your passion is. So get to know as many people as you can, and don't be afraid of that, because with that, you're going to build confidence that you're going to need in order to approach these programs and really speaking freely to the people that are really going to be, they're going to matter in deciding which career you're going to go to.
It's great advice. And because this is where a lot of, I think, students are right now, is those potentially needing letters of recommendation within the next year or two. Can you go into that process a little bit? Just expand a little bit, like what all did you need letters of recommendation for besides transferring? And what worked, because you mentioned like your professors knowing you, and what if there were things that didn't work along that path, if you could just share a little bit more.
Yeah. So I remember, the person that created that program that I talked about at UC San Diego, her name was Dr. Sandra Daly, and she's just a great mentor and a great person to know. So I remember she was, her position was, she was a vice chancellor of UC San Diego at the time, chief of diversity at UCSD. So her advice was to, if you want to get a letter of recommendation, you need three things in selecting that person. One is that that person knows you, not that you know them, but they know you, likes you, and wants to see you succeed. So these three things: knows you, likes you, and wants to see you succeed. Because if you have that one person that can have all these three things, then you're going to have a strong letter of recommendation. Because a strong letter of recommendation is not about how you word the letter, but it's about, what can you tell me about that person that really makes a difference from the thousands of applicants that apply to the school? Because like when you apply, for example, to UCSD, the pool of applicants is about 1,500 students, and they select 60. So just imagine the odds of getting into a program like this. It's not easy, but it is doable and it is possible. And one of the really main things that can make a big difference is having strong letters of recommendation. So that is my advice to you: knows you, likes you, and wants to see you succeed.
Those are great tangibles to remember. And yeah, I like how you say that they know you, you don't just know them as well. But no, I want to thank you for taking time this morning. I think we can transition into letting students then ask questions, but I will stop the recording for that piece. So I just want to, while we're still being recorded, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you for sharing your story and wisdom that you have.
Of course, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.